Hello, dear brothers and sisters in the world. Here, Mono again from the Netherlands, together with Sam. And Sam will today a little go into the sun and how it works and more things about the flat square Earth from Enoch 1. Sam, thank you for being here again. And I will say, come in, please.
My pleasure. My pleasure, Mono. Thank you again, my friend. You're you're a stalwart. You're in there for me. I messaged you earlier, and you're there, mate. You're ready to go, and you're all for it. So I'm grateful, and I thank you, and it's good to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm grateful too because there is knowledge that we learn, and I always like to learn, so that's a good
Mm-hmm.
thing. So I will put you on my screen because you want to show first your paintings, I think. So I
Yep.
will put you on my screen in the big size, so you can go on and do what you want, so to
Okay.
say.
All right. Well, I just want to respond to a message that I received today in on one of the videos that Mono and I have done. Mono and I have done is Enoch is very clear that, and it also goes to Nikola Tesla, that only the moons go all around the world, all around the realm. They go underneath us. Whoops, stay there. They go around underneath us. I've got to watch my earphones. So the comment that I received today was that um, I'm guessing free energy didn't really understand the explanation that I had given earlier in one of the videos, which I've tried to over and over again, but I'll try again. Um, so much of the propaganda that's been publicised and used against really the truth is Pac-Man. Well, Pac-Man's true. Um, in the last few days, again, through the TV and movies, they really do like to run with portals, and they've pumped it through Stargate and Star Trek and everything. Portal, portal, portal. Well, when a portal is mentioned, it's a port, and a port is where you start and finish a journey. Um, so with the suns that we see in here, as we've come along, and this is hard for people, but that's the way it is. That the sun, as the Hebrew said, has a window. It has like an iris effect that opens and closes as it travels. I've got to be careful with my earphones. Um, this is why I put this here. That's a window for the sun's tower that is beamed in to the rainbow, and that's your first polarization. This should have been convex, but this is your first polarization, and this is what I want to show here is to the east, the sun is formed. You can't quite see.
Yeah, you can take it a little to it, as if you want.
Yeah, let's see if I can get that. There we go. There's a bit of a delay. So the sun is created east, and it's beamed in and refracted through the prism at the top, the convex surface at the top, and it creates a wave that travels. And it's a wave that, like you're sitting in a swell of water. It's a wave, and our eyes are magnetic receivers, and they perceive the sun, whether it's coming. It's all within that wave, like the swell of water and the surface tension of a wave in the ocean. Um, so they are formed when this window opens, and the tower. That is what the tower is. It's the sun's laser is the tower, and they're formed out here on the eastern edge every morning. every pass. You never see the same sun twice. And so I hope this is getting, somewhat clearer for free energy. You never see the same sun twice. So it forms, as Enoch says, that they ascend to a level and they form, and with the magnetics will have that rounding effect. So they form out against the prism wall on the east, and the whole wave travels east to west, as we know those cardinals in here. And then they are put out and chambered. And I've put some memes together today of the molten, like the lava effect, the river of lava on the western edge. And Enoch is very clear that is where the luminaries are put out every time they're finished their journey. That's the port on the other side. It's not a portal. You don't go in and out. There's none of this. There's none of this silliness of well, what happens when you go out west? If you go out west, do you just magically appear east? No, you don't. There's a bloody wall there. But what happens is, and it's written that, and it's Venus. The morning stars sang. That's more than one Venus. It's the morning stars sang. So they are the relay to open and close the sun's window. So when Venus passes the edge of Earth, when it passes the forward one, I'd say it is, as a relay, it opens the iris of the sun. I've got this wrong for this explanation. So it opens the iris for the sun, and allows the orb of heaven, the sun's light, to beam into us, refract, create the wave. We see a sun, everyone sees a sun at a different position from in between the two tropic lines, and travels east to west. It's formed on the east every day. It's put out on the west every day, every sun. The only ones that go all around the world is the wanderers and the moons. And they are Ezekiel's wheels within wheels. And if people want to know more, please come to our Facebook group where we have all of the research, and we're trying here to put it all in memes and explain it to people. But the sun does not go all around the world. Here on this painting, this is some year and a half, 2 years old now. And what you have is a line of the sun wave as it travels this way. There would be another one here. I need to put them on. I nearly did today. There should be another wave over here as it's traveling. So you'll have day, night, day. Then when the light comes off from America, then what you'll end up with, as this one comes across, you'll have night, day, night. And there's two waves traveling. I'll do this tomorrow. I'll fix these up tomorrow. Because that gives you, your two suns. This is actually more showing Tesla's 369, where Australia, where I am, we get cyclones, and up here get hurricanes and typhoons, either side of equal magnetic point. So it's really important that, I've got to fix these. I will fix these tomorrow. I should have done it today because I had the thought to do it today. So it's really important that people, the Hebrew window is real because it's evidenced by the Southern Cross and the plough, the Polaris, because this one here now is, I think, hang on, that's for the North Summer, where the plough goes lower on the horizon. Then for my summer, which is now, my Southern Cross goes down, the Polaris comes up, and the sun's window moves by the same increments as the firmament. So they all work symbiotically together. The stars are actually showing us, it's one of the proofs, they're actually showing us that the suns are projected in here through the Hebrew window, like Enoch said, as is the orb of heaven. Solar eclipses also show us, as I've shown before, that when a solar eclipse happens, the sky goes dark behind the sun that people are taking photos of. The sky goes dark. Well, if the sun was a round orb, then the sky should stay blue. It should most definitely stay blue. So what that's proving is they're firing like a glorified electromagnetic wave, like they're using on the fires, a laser, but it's a magnetic laser. Well, their technology's it's 100 years in advance of what we know. They're firing it up, and it's adjusting. So you've got two EM fields where the sun lands on a level in here. Then they're firing up something, and it's retarding the sun's timing, guaranteed, and the energies. Same with lunar eclipses. So they actually prove that the sun and the moons are projections. There's other proofs as well. So they are only projections in here. They're not a physical item, orb. If you could touch the sun, it would not be hot. And here's my other little painting here, which shows it. I'll see if I can bring this in a bit closer.
Yeah, it is okay. Yeah.
Righto. So where are we? We're here. So here I have the sun at this level, a disk. I done this a long time ago. But if you go across, the mountains have ice on them, yet they're closer to the sun. So it's showing us that it's all resonance energy. It's all just magnetic resonance energy, sound, vibration. And the closer you are doesn't mean nothing. It's actually the magnetics of the Earth that is interacting with the sun's wave down here that's creating the heat here, where we are. But up here, there's no heat. And you can guarantee that you could touch the bloody sun probably, and it wouldn't be hot. Everything's an illusion. But we've got to look for the proofs of, like, the ice on the top of the mountains. And this is important. I also put on here that the moon is old man time. It's old man time because the moons are the timekeeper. So, you know, this is just an evidence of the resonance energy of the sun, and that it wouldn't be hot. So it's projected in. Now, I done this a long time ago, and here I am putting a lens here, the polarization, the disc, and, you know, it was just a heartfelt painting, this one. So they're projected in. So it's not hard that they're formed as the window opens. Come in, first polarization, your rainbow is the second polarization, showing you the convex lens, and they're formed every pass. They travel through to the west, and when the window closes, they're put out. It's not that big a deal, and it's just how it is. So does the sun go all around the world, all around the realm? No, it does not. Absolutely not. I've never said that. The window, what all the literature says, any credible book, is that the window, that it opens and the sun starts at the east, it travels through to the west and rushes back through the north. The north is up here. It rushes back through the north, back to whence it came, not the south. And this is where they've just told us more lies. You've got a cardinal north, yes. You've got your east, west, south, but true north is up here. And in one part of Enoch, he actually talks about some chambers or windows up here, this to some extent. So that's north. So it goes out the west, closes, the window closes, and there's like a recoil action out in the outer wheels, which you've seen as we're displaying in our other memes and diagrams of the future animation of Ezekiel's wheels within wheels. That it comes out, closes the window, then there's a recoil action, and the window snaps back to whence it came, quickly, hurriedly, as all the books have told us. So, no, for you, free energy, no, the sun does not go all around the realm. The moons and the wanderers do, like all the good books have told us. And I think that's important. I hope that helps you.
Okay.
So there we go, mate.
Yeah.
It's a bit hard because there's a little bit of a lag in I lose track. If I look at the screen, I lose track of my hands.
Yeah.
So I've got to sort of not look at the screen and just concentrate.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, it was
So yeah.
clear. It was clear. It was not in the lag. I think sometimes a little, but it did go well. I think. So this is. You wanna go to the model maybe from the paintings?
To the model. Yeah, up to you, mate. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, then I make this smaller again, and I put you back up here. So now here. Then I go to. So here can people see it again. Yeah. And
Isn't that amazing?
This is the model, and here the people can better see where the moons are. And these are not the moons; they are the source for the moons.
Yes,
So
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, just for good graphics for people to start conceiving of Ezekiel's wheels within wheels, of what he was really saying. And Enoch, as he says, Enoch only says one of the great luminaries goes all around the world, and it's the moons. They are the, what did you call it? Dynamo, dynamo, that go all around the world with the wanderers, because they are the leaders.
Inside the ring.
You know, yep, inside the ring, yes.
Yeah.
And there's more work that we're doing there now with what we're seeing and understanding, and God willing, that's going to come through on our animation. And there's, Lord of the Rings, it's amazing.
Yeah. And these are the rings for the people. We showed it before, but this is the rings where you talk about.
Yeah. And that's the moons and the wanderers are all governed by magnetics. The moon's in the rings, and the wanderers are at magnetic levels within the rings, and they are the selectors of the gearbox. They're the leaders. That's what they call selectors in truck gearboxes and so forth. Quite often I think I've heard mechanics, they'll call the selectors leaders. Well, there you go, so it's there in front of us.
Yeah, I think people need to look a little in the way that it is just an electromagnetic motor, a dynamo motor.
Yep.
Yeah, all this electromagnetic. And that's how they come to the dynamos, of course, and that kind of thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I think and you would too, I encourage people to actually Google the names of the electric motors. Have a look at the names that are all over them, that they call them, and Sun Gear. They've got all sorts of amazing names that fit right into our cosmology.
Yeah.
And it's not a big jump. Most important thing, people, is the sun. For me, the sun does the ether of the sun charges the moon in the first 14 days. That's why it's called phases. It charges the moon in the first 14 days, and then it uses that magnetics in the last 14 days. I'm trying to get comfortable with my neck. And that's why it's called phases. But the ether of the sun is the prime source of all energy. And it gives it to the moon in the first 14. The moon dispenses that energy on the axis point, south or north, on the axis of the stars, to move the firmament at conjunction, because wherever the moon is, it doesn't matter. It can be gate 3 and the sun gate 6, but at conjunction, when the moon disappears, the moon will jump while you can't see it back to the sun, and on the new moon will come out of the same track as the sun. But the firmament will have moved, and the sun's window will move one track for the seasons, and this is the moon's job. So it uses its magnetics in the last 14 days to maneuver, to move the firmament, the window or the rings, to move the sun to the next gate for the seasons. And this happens every month except the 2 months of summer, whether it be the summer in the north or the summer in the south, doesn't matter. I'm in my first month of summer down here now, and the sun won't change tracks for 60 days. It'll stay in the one track. In my case now, it's in track 1, and it'll stay there for 60 days. That's 2 lunar cycles. It will stay there. And if it's in the north, it will stay in track 6 for your summer, for 60 days, no movement. But after that 60 days, every cycle at conjunction, the sun jumps 10 degrees, 10 degrees, 10 degrees, 10 degrees, and this is how it works for the sun, for the seasons. I think, in the good books, it does say that the sun, the moon, and the stars, really, they're not for time. They were never given to us as actually for time. They were given to us for seasons. Yeah. And I think for myself, what do we need seasons for? To grow food, not to go to work and work for paper.
Yeah, right. I did put a little model up again. So you say that it is going from here to here, we're creating sunset and creating a sunrise, and this is at the top, so to say. Yeah, because
Yeah. Well, that's right. You can take one angle and it shoots across to the prism wall and creates the luminary, whether it be the sun or the moon, because they're both projected in here. And it projects across to the other side, and then as the firmament moves around, it travels across on the level, gets across to the other side, and it's put out because the window closes.
Yeah, so it works a little like a magnifying glass. If you put a magnifying glass toward the sun, 180 degrees, so to say, straight
Yep.
against with the sun, you can get fire. But if you turn it a little, it will become less hot, so to say, and it will also be bigger.
Yes,
The eye.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
The fan effect as it travels from east to west.
Yeah.
So out for the summer side, it's the angle that it's coming in that guarantees there's your summer sun right there out on the tropic line.
Yeah.
But then as it comes back to equinox, both sides are even. Then it'll go through to this side, and then your strongest projection is down, say, on me now. But the sun is still fanned right across the whole north to south as it travels east to west. And this is what gives us the seasons. And it's very important that anyone that ever listens to this, that and the ball as well, the globe, there's no seasons in the middle. You've got to think of this. There's no summer or winter in between the tropic lines. Now, that is a complete debunk of any circle, and it's a debunk of the ball too, because, you've got this oblique spheroid like this that is supposedly tilting like this for the seasons, and well, on this peach on the middle here, that's closest to the sun. That should be summer. They should get a boiling hot summer. They don't. In the middle here never has any alteration in seasons.
Yeah. It's a little like this, so to say. Yeah?
Yes.
I need to put it a little like this. So. And the other one for you too. So it comes in here. Here will be the hottest point. But here will be less hot, so to say, and that is for this side the same. The straight line, yeah, it's not a straight line now. I will do it again for that one.
Yeah, that's well done, Mono. Yeah, mate.
So
Well done. Good
straight
on you.
ahead, yeah. And
So,
for the other side, it need to be so, and then we
can,
can horizontal like this. So this will be the form, yeah. So
basically, yes.
yeah, yeah.
But, I
And
mean,
you can see
you
the wave
stretch.
already. You see, just like the DNA.
So, what you could do is stretch the lowest angle of those, stretch it right out, stretch it out further.
The pyramid, the straight one.
No, no, no.
Wait a minute.
So that one there, yep. Now stretch the bottom out a little bit of the yeah, they're right. Now do the same with the other two angles.
Yeah, a moment.
That's how the fan effect works.
Yeah, I will make this one black, like this. So.
Yep.
And then
that's it.
I will do it again with the other side, but I need to turn it horizontal. And I will make this one dark gray. So.
Yep. So the most direct line of a projection is going to give you summer. So when you're looking at those two left and right projections, the one that's coming down vertically is going to be a winter because it's not direct. It's been broken. It's the lesser of the split of the projection. So that'll be winter. But the one that's stretching out to the other tropic line, that'll be summer because it's a more direct source from source. It's really coming down hard and hot.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
those ones there, they'll be winter.
That is logic. That is logic because what I say with magnifying glass, it works the same as
it does.
If you take it away to 170 degrees or 160 or 200 or 190, it becomes less hot, so to say. The beam that comes from the sun through the magnifying glass. Yeah.
And if you look at what you've just done there, which is so simple, I love it. I love it when it's simple. I really do. I love it. But seeing under the centre there, when I talk about not having any seasons in the middle, see, there's no seasons in the middle, and there's not, and they get very small tides as well. They only get like 2 inches to like 8 inches if you're lucky. But yet the further you get away from the equal magnetic point out to the tropic lines, the tides increase. You know, I know in Western Australia, basically opposite me, I'm trying to think of the name of the place. Doesn't matter. The tide can go out like a kilometre. And, you know, that's amazing. But they're right underneath the tropic line. Even here off Brisbane at Bribie Island and places, you know, when the tide goes out, I mean, the water's gone. You're kind of like, wow, shit, where did that go? Because the tides are all tied to the sun. They're solar. The salt water is the electric conductor. And as each sun wave comes through on Earth, it pushes the water out of the way. As it disappears, then the water comes in behind it. And you've got, you've got 2 tides every 48-hour cycle. And it's all perfectly timed to the sun's waves as they travel east to west.
Yeah, that is understandable.
You know, that's really well done. I like that. Mono, that's how it is. Yeah. That's how the fan works.
Yeah, and it is again a pyramid.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why that's also has to do with the pyramids and why they make the holes in it and that kind of things, of course, because the sun comes and then this, and I don't know if it is the other side too, but there are kind of windows in pyramids too, of course. Yeah, the Queen's Chamber, King Chamber, that kind of things.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, my friend. Yeah. Absolutely. No, that was well done. Good on you, Mono.
Yeah.
Good stuff, mate. Okay. It makes it easier when you can do that because it makes it easier for me to make it visual for people.
Yeah, yeah. Let me see. I will close this one. And wait a minute, because people can see here the convex lens on the top of it,
Yeah.
so to say. Yeah.
Hmm.
And I can close this one because we have more of this model. Let me see. Oh, here, oh, this is the same one. Oh, here you have
Yep.
another one, and we did show that in other video about the
Yep.
summer in the
Yes.
north. So you can clearly see if I do it again in paint, you can clearly see here now that the sun comes in from here, yeah,
Hmm.
and I need to do it that way. So like this, and I turn it horizontal, and I can put it in here like you did already, but
Yep. Yep.
just to make it more clear, yeah.
It's just really important, and we've got to get over this idea of physical 2D realm. We don't live in a 2D realm. It's 3D, 4D, 7D almost. That our eyes are electromagnetic receivers. They are actually, and it all come to me from people that smoke pot, marijuana, that when they smoke, that their eye color changes. And I thought about it and thought about it, and wow. And then you think about how marijuana, whether it be oil, whatever product to do with hemp, is something that has been with mankind since the get-go. Um, and they've corrupted marijuana now through hydroponics and chemicals, no different than cigarettes. But if you were to use purely naturally grown hemp oil and hemp products, you can bet your bottom dollar that it would be very healthy in probably every way, as long as, like anything, it's not abused. Um, so,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that's it. Everything. If you don't do it yourself, then you cannot, for real. You need to trust a little, but you cannot trust it. It's the same with vegetables. It's with
Yeah,
apples, pears,
yeah,
fruits, with everything. Yeah, and
yeah, agreed.
I did do peppers, but paprika. Yeah, I don't. It's also peppers, I think.
Hmm.
Sweet peppers, they call them, I think. And you
Hmm.
can clearly taste the difference between peppers from yourself and peppers
Oh,
from the store. Yeah,
oh my God,
yeah,
completely different.
yeah. Because
Tomatoes, carrots,
yeah,
cabbage,
yeah,
cauliflower, broccoli.
yeah,
The list is everything.
yeah. Potatoes, you can do all.
Beans,
Yeah,
peas.
yeah. And people need to understand that if you have, I have my window on the east, so I have not much sun. But I did grow peppers on my balcony and behind my window, and behind the window it works great too because peppers don't need too much heat or sun
Yep.
because they will become weak. The leaves will become
Mhm.
weak, so to say, and
Mhm. Mhm.
the sweet peppers too, and the normal peppers too. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's what I found out because of all the bullshit in the world and all all the setup, I would the first thing I did was try to making my own food because I was never busy with that. I'm just a city guy, so to say, yeah, and it was fun, you know. And
Oh, yeah, it
I
is.
showed my mate. And he liked it too, you know, because if you once you start it and you see the peppers or tomatoes. I had cucumber, that kind of things in a green tent on my balcony, and it is fantastic to because we are of course not all people, but a lot of people are lead away from the nature, so to say. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm. Well, I know. I was very fortunate that with my son when he was only a baby, 2, 3, 4 years old, I turned quite a big area into a full blown vegetable garden, and I was supplying probably 3, 4 houses up and down the street with everything you could think of, and I did it all. As I did that, I was learning about horticulture and companion planting and using all natural fertilizers because we had a horse stud at the time, and so I was using a lot of stallion manure aged and soaked in 44-gallon drums with rainwater. And it was an amazing thing that my son would come out with me, and I'd just look around and he'd be just sitting there in amongst corn or strawberries or beans or peas, and he'd be just yum, 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 chowing down, and it's just so nice. It was just so nice, and that I knew he was eating absolutely perfect food,
yeah,
perfect food,
yeah,
no chemicals.
yeah, yeah. It is fantastic, so to say. Uh,
I look forward to doing it again, to be
yeah,
honest with you. One of my best mates online, Adam Robbins, he's looking to buy some property up north, and he wants myself, if I'm fortunate enough, I've got to get some money together, but he wants to start like
a biological farmer.
yeah, he's a very smart man. He's done a lot of work in horticulture, and just to have like a work stay where people can just join in, and we can help people go outside and show them how the stars and the moon and the wanderers, how they all really do work, and show people. Meanwhile, actually growing real fruit trees and real vegetables, and just very natural. And this is something Adam wants to do. He has got the resources. So I look forward to the future where it may be even something that comes to reality in the tropics. It would be beautiful up near Townsville, I think. So we'll see.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was when I started with the peppers and the tomatoes and cucumber and that kind of thing. I was thinking I need to start a store. Of course, money is always the problem, but I need to start a store just in my neighborhood, and only biological food doesn't exist. Every food is organic. Yeah, it's now
Yeah,
of course poisoned, and organic should not be a name because it should be organic on itself always. For real.
always,
Yeah, and
always.
so they make the name organic, but for real it should always be organic. And
Yeah,
now we buy biological food, but if it is made outside, and I don't know if they put, but if it is made outside, we have gases from planes, from cars, from machinery, from that kind of plants, shell, that kind of thing. So it's always poisoned, so to say.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Basically,
Yeah.
yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah, and
So
I
let's
can
keep
see
going.
the difference because if I do peppers and that kind of thing inside, then nothing happened. They stay beautiful. But if I do it outside, they start
Hmm.
to yeah, they become weak and a kind of bacteria on it, and how you call it, schimmels, that kind of
Well,
things.
what I find here is I've got a lot of different herbs and rosemary, lavender, mints, different kinds of mints. I've got some tomatoes, some rock melon, cantaloupe, and other things that I grow around here. And I can water them with the town water here, and they kind of don't do anything. They look at me stupid, the plants, and think, well, what's that? They stay alive, they stay green, but they don't really grow. But the moment that it rains, I think you can just about watch them grow. The moment it rains, they just thrive. But on our town water, it bloody near kills them. It virtually kills them. And it's a really good sign of just how toxic town water is.
Yeah,
It's absolutely, it's disgusting.
yeah, yeah.
The town water,
Yeah, yeah,
disgusting.
yeah. What I do, I have it's called the gravity water filter from Berkeley, and I use that for my water to filter, and it's not very really clean, so to say. There are better filters, but when I am done after 6 months, then I use them for my plants. I have
Mm.
a big can outside, 40 liters, and I put how you call it. Yeah, I put other can on it with the filter in it, so I also filter with the end that I don't use for myself, and it is
Yes.
it's a little different. It do filter, but It's not really, all, so to say,
So
you
what?
know.
So what you're trying to do is you're trying to give your plants the best you can, the best
To
water
my,
you
to my,
can.
to my, the possibilities that I have, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it's important, you know. I look around and I see there's down here is really dry. I mean, Australia. I mean, we're a dry country anyway, but in the last 20 years, where I live here is subtropical, and I've talked to a lot of the old farmers here, and they would say that when they were a boy, the subsoil moisture was about a metre, where you could dig down, it was always wet. Where now there's absolutely no subsoil moisture, it's like rock. And so, you know, I look at the plants and I can see it. They're all thirsty, they're all struggling, they're under stress.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and it's, you know, even this year I've got two mulberry trees, one just down here and one out the back door, and they all come on. They were actually not going to even coming out in leaf until we've only had two little rains, thunderstorms. They come out after the first one. They come out in leaf and fruit, but the fruit didn't even develop. It only come out 1/10 of the size.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I go out and have a look 2 weeks later, and all the fruit has dropped off. It's
Yeah.
just dropped off. It didn't ripe. There was nothing about it. It's just too much stress.
Yeah.
They can't even produce fruit. So, you know, these are all important things for people to pay attention to for the times that we live in. I
Yeah.
do believe.
Yeah, I did watch a video about that we use always fertilizer for the ground, and for real you need some bacteria, and if you use the bacteria in the ground, then the bacteria make that the food of the plant will be the roots will not don't need to be so long then, because
Mm,
the bacteria exchange the sugar with the food that the plant gives, so to say. Yeah, I will look up. I will put it in the description. But it was a very good knowledge, so to say, because he say we use too much always fertilizers, but we don't need them. He say in that video. But I thought it was in Dutch, so it will not be so
mm.
good for people in English, of course.
Well, again, my life's been full of experiences that are all paying off now. When I was in my early 20s, I used to clear what they call virgin land in Western Australia, and per year we might clear 3,000, 4,000 acres. And once we'd cleared it and got it prepared for sowing to wheat, barley, oats, for 3 years. 3 years, the farmers knew that they could bank on bumper crops um, off that land. But after 3 years, that's when they started to have to put superphosphates into the soil, because there was no nutrients left after 3 years. So they put the superphosphates in, and the superphosphates would kill the bacteria in the soil. And from that day, if you ever wanted to fix that soil, you had to spell it. You had to spell it for 2, 3 years without nothing grown, and just let the natural growth rot
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
process happen to generate that bacteria back again.
Yeah, that's what he
And
was saying. That's what he was saying. Also, you need to let the roots inside because it will be easier for the new roots to go in when
yeah,
it is rotten, so to say.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Uh, Listen, you want to go on with the series I have, or do you want to go on with the series about Isaiah and that kind of things? Yes, sir,
Isaiah.
Isaiah. Yeah, you know. So I will close this one and we go further with this one. We have some work to do with this ones. So
Well, you know, that one there. I think the Genesis 1:4 and Genesis 1:14 is code. Um, you know, when you sit here or anybody sits and looks at the dawn, um, you get the light first, don't you? Before the sun.
yeah,
And I think that speaks for itself. God saw that the light was good and that he separated the light from the darkness. then let there be lights in the vault, in the prism of the sky, for separate the day from night, and let them serve as signs to mark the sacred times, seasons, and days and years, not time. And so it's code again. You know, they word everything so cheekily and so tricky, as that people don't think. But really it's code to let us know that the sun has been projected through the sky and turned the sky on, but it's being formed, for me looking east, it's being formed out of my view, but the sky has been switched on. So first there was light, then there was lights. And, you know, it's really another extension of projections.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I will go on with this
Yep.
part. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Oh,
this
yeah.
is about, and the Lord confounded them before the children at Israel, who smote them with a terrible slaughter in Gibeon, and pursued them along the way that goes up to Beth Horon unto Makkedah, and they fled from before, the children of Israel. And that was about the Jews. And whilst they are fleeing, the Lord sent upon them hailstones from heaven, and more of them died by the hailstones than by the slaughter of the children of Israel. And the children of Israel pursued them, and they still smote them in the road, going on and smiting them. And when they are smiting, the day was declining toward evening. And Joshua said in the sight of all the people, Sun, stand thou still upon Gibeon, and thou moon in the valley of Ajalon, until the nation shall have revenged itself upon the enemies. And the Lord hearkened to the voice of Joshua, and the sun stood still in the midst of the heavens, and it stood still 60 and 30 moments, and the moon also stood still, and hastened not to go down a whole day. Make it little like this, so that people can read it
So
for this.
my point behind this one, and people need to think, is there is no way. Again, my paintings. There's no way that I'm going to wreck that painting. And in this particular case, where it's all been said here, once you know the true cosmology of flat square Earth and the prism and the cosmic engine, Ezekiel's wheels within wheels, you realise that the controllers of this realm have a lot more control, or they know how it works, and they have only one option in this gig, because there's way too many slaves versus control family. And so this is more like Israel. It's Isis, which is the beam in, which is the tower. Ra, the sun god. El being Elohim, Israel. It's fake. It's all dreamy stuff. You know, even in the Bible, it says the Jews that say they're Jews but they're not. Well, they're not. They're not Jews. There's no such thing as Jew. They are Sumerian, or if one for a better word, better description, they are the true wolf in sheep's clothing, as per Noah. So there's another line of man, the blue bloods, that have been created. I've had true occult members online when they really get pissed off with me, and they've told me and given me the full description of the genetic manipulation of mankind. Because you've got to understand that this whole system has been working for 4.5 basically 5,500 years. And there's been a lot of manipulation in that time. So people need to wake up to this. It's not a 500-year deal. This is 5,500 years at least, if not 6,000, since Enoch. Because Enoch walked out here. He didn't die. He walked out. And he left the reins to Methuselah. Methuselah did good for, I think, 500-600 years. But from there, everything went south. Everything that was where the hijack took part. Well, it's things don't add up. So here that they stopped the sun and the moon. Well, how do you do that? What you do to do that, once you understand the true cosmology and of flat square Earth, is you put the brakes on. You cause the engine to stop. And we'll get to another meme in a minute where it shows you. Now, this is all shown because of Enoch 1, the true cosmology of Enoch 1, which is why there's so many not true interpretations of Enoch 1. Similar to the Bible, I encourage people again to get the R.H. Charles version translation of Enoch 1 Enoch, out of the Ethiopian Bible, 1883. Read it yourself, slowly, because don't listen to videos, because they're twisting and turning all of the words. They're twisting and turning meanings. As I said in a previous video, some of them are coming out and telling you there's 13 months. Come on. It's so basic that you only got to look in the sky. There's 12. So the more truth you know, the more lies you can see. Yeah. And it's only through paying attention to your natural world that you get to see it all. So I want to keep going, but people, the Most High host of all heaven is not going to stop the sun and the moon, the cosmic clock. They're not going to stop it just for a couple of friggin' thousand butchers. It's not going to happen. So it's got to show you who's writing this. Who is writing this? It's not anyone good, because it's about slaughter. It's about bloodshed. It's nothing good going on here. All right.
No. If you think about it, I like to play with words, and it is Bible, and of course it's B-E-B-L-A, but if you put the L and the A backwards, you get B-Bel, the Prince of Bel,
Yeah.
be Bel.
Yeah.
Or by Bel, you are with Bel, with Baal.
Yes. Baal.
With Baal.
Yeah.
If you think
Baal,
about it.
Ball.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just goes on and on and on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
So this is really important. This is really Babylon. This is all they're talking about here is exactly what's happening now in Iraq, Iran, Syria. It's all Babylon. And it's exactly the same deal. It's just they changed the names, but it's the same deal. It's Babylon. So yeah.
Okay, I go to the next one. Which is,
what do we got there? Yeah.
I will make the shadow cast by the sun go back the 10th step it has gone down on the stairway of a house. So the sunlight went back the 10th step it had to go down. Isaiah 38 verse 8.
Well, this one here, when I was looking at that pyramid of the sun in Mexico, and you look at the steps up each side, and they all account for the days of the year, 364, blah, 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 blah. And all of a sudden it dawned on me that they are the steps of Ahaz. Now, you go to the Gregorian calendar now, and the Gregorian calendar, they give us a leap year every 4 years. But if you look at and do your maths on it, I've got memes, I've probably already shown it here. We should have a leap year every 7 years as well. So every 4, but then every 7 as well, because the math still doesn't work. So what's happened is you're looking here at, they're telling you here that, so the sunlight went back the 10 steps it had gone down. So what we have is we've got a broken clock. The Earth realm is broken because it's not 364 days anymore, exactly as Enoch showed us pre the takeover, pre any destruction events. Now it's 365 and a quarter. So, and here is showing you that they've broken the clock. They set it back. It's like getting a clock and you set it back. So, and these are the steps of Ahaz. I think there's a meme coming up with it, I hope. Because, this is what, again, Enoch's cosmology, Enoch 1's cosmology shows you. It basically joins the dots in every direction.
Yeah, the next one is a little the same, as you can see. And Isaiah the prophet cried unto the Lord, and he brought the shadow 10 degrees backward, by which it had gone down on the dial of Ahaz, 2 Kings
Yep.
steps. Yeah.
Same deal.
Yeah. Okay, I go to the other one. This was what I just showed already, but this was about the stopping the clock, so to say. Where it's all about.
Well, it's a very important one.
Yeah, I will read them. In those
Okay.
days Noah saw that the earth became inclined and that the destruction approached. Then he lifted up his feet and went to the ends of the earth, to the dwelling of his great-grandfather Enoch. And Noah cried with a bitter voice, Hear me, hear me, hear me, 3 times. And he said, Tell me what is transacting upon the earth, for the earth labors and it's violently shaken. Surely I shall perish with it. And
Well, see, look at this. This is the book of Enoch. Now, this is a physically evidenced book now, guys and girls. This is chapter 73, and dual luminaries. It's physically evidenced book. And here he's talking about Noah, and Noah's panicking. He's in a tiz. He's worried. And yet, if you go to the Bible, all of the accounts of Noah are how well prepared he was, and how he knew years in advance of all of this destruction and all of this stuff that was going to happen. Well, yet here, it says here, in these days Noah saw that the earth became inclined. Inclined means this. So we're sitting flat now, but the earth became inclined. Well, as I sit and think about it, and how, they've put all of this pre-programming into, these 200, 300-foot waves, destroying the east coast of America, and other continents. And they've built all of the populations on the east coast of all of the major continents: Australia, Asia, Africa, the USA, South America, as we know it. All of the land, all the populations are on the east coast. I could never understand it because I come from the Western Australia, and Western Australia is so sparsely populated, it's crazy. And yet it's got barrier reefs. It's got absolutely loaded with beautiful stuff. And yet the population it's really it's a criminal offence that people in India and Sri Lanka are living on top of each other, Hong Kong, and yet here they are in Western Australia, where you've got one person per bloody 1,000 square kilometres type thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's all by design, because this is why they're adjusting at the moment. They're adjusting the height of the luminaries, the magnetic level. When you get a supermoon, it means the supermoon is lower, and that changes the energy transaction between the moons opposite each other, because there is a moon going underneath us, and it changes the energy through the earth and changes the clock. This is all to do with climate change. Climate change is the propaganda to hide what they're doing. And this is what they're planning, what they want to happen. I don't believe it doesn't work this time. It's not going to work this time, because we were told that the earth will not be destroyed by water again. This time it's fire. Well, what is fire? Fire is spirit. So I am of the faith that the reason we've discovered Enoch is because, and it's cleverly hidden in Enoch's words of the elect and the righteous, that it's about spirit, it's about fire, spirit. And so they're not going to get this opportunity, but it's important. I don't believe they're going to. That's what they want, because they're showing us in their movies, but they're not going to get it. But this is what it's all about. Your eclipses, your solar and lunar eclipses, man-made, and they are manipulating the cosmic clock, and they want to cause it to stall. And if it stalls, you can guarantee the earth will incline and kick back. And this will be the wave travelling from the east as it kicks back and reboots. So that's a really important meme, and I hope people start realising just how important it is, the Enoch 1 truth, that we get it out there.
And they want to follow the Bible. That is really a script, because you see that pastors are talking about California is burned because of all weird things they do, so to say, Californication, so to say.
Yeah.
So you say spirit, but they in the Bible they speak about fire, so they want to follow that it is not spirit,
Yes,
but show you it's fire,
exactly.
to lead
It's
you
all
away from it.
well said, Mono.
Yeah.
Well said, mate. That's how they do it.
Yeah.
Because I'm sorry to anyone that gets offended, but a big percentage of all pastors, priests and rabbis. I mean, the Bible's very clear there. I don't get what people are doing. They go and sit in a church, but yet the very book that they're sitting there reading tells them you should not ever follow a pastor, preacher or rabbi. And yet they're all called pastor, preacher and rabbi.
Yeah.
Now, these guys are guiding these people to read this, to read that. Don't read this. Don't read that. Don't read Enoch. Don't read anything that we don't tell you to read. And then they leave the church, and I don't know what they do with their Bible. Maybe they use it for dunny paper. I don't know. But they don't read it, and they don't think when they read it. Yahushua said, you should discern all things with your heart. Discern all things. You got to, so it's hard. It's hard to, get people thinking.
Yeah, it is a big machinery what they put up to let people think to the other side. And what I said already, fire is not spirit, but they show fire with all fires they do. And people can just, if they look up California, DUW, yeah, and you can find it. It's easy, and you can see it. Cars are molten, and trees stand just to the top, untouched, and roads untouched. But the whole building, the houses, everything is gone. So I don't know why they do it. I did get some information for pipelines that need to come there, but I'm not sure.
Nah.
That is just speculation, but I think there is a big agenda behind it. So to say.
Absolutely, mate. Yeah. And it's important what you said there. I'm watching. I've got this Jewish guy that does YouTube, and I watch the titles of his videos he does every day, and Israel Live and all this sort of thing. They're all just paid. I shouldn't say that. They are all disinformation. Yeah. Yes, they are.
Yeah.
And what they're doing is they're creating a blanket effect of blinding you. Like they're talking about the Lord is creating the hurricanes and the wrath of God, and oh my God. Yeah. When it's pure 100 unadulterated weather modification warfare against honest, true man.
Yeah, mankind.
And now these are the same people that wrote the Bible. They give you the Bible. They're running to the Bible as a bloody script. And it beats the shit out of me when I hear people, Jesus pushers, that get on there and where is their sense? Where is their common sense? That none of it adds up. And yet they want to be a truther, but they push this false flaw, this false dichotomy. And it's just a massive, big delusion of who is really behind this major manipulation of Earth and the cosmic clock. I think the Third World War is well on its way. It's already happening. It's happening now. The Third World War is on mankind.
Yeah, on everybody.
It is.
Yeah.
It's already taking place right now.
Yeah, and the New World Order is already established, not in the way that they like to, but it is all, for the most part, already established. We can see that also in the Netherlands. A lot thing we have. A lot things that be taken, and I can see, so I see it, that they want to push now. They really want to push now. Yeah, we have a referendum. They did take away our referendum because they want to push everything. Yeah, they have organ donation. They did already 3 times in 10 years, but the people didn't like it, so they wrote themselves out. So they did go to make it undone. They don't like to be a donor, so to say. Yeah, and they did it now again. You are now donor always, and you can do it undone. You can undone it, but it is a lot work. But it is just organ business. It's just a business, you know. And you can see they take a lot away here. And what I say. You can really see it. And most people don't see it because they don't think that people are so motherfucking pieces of shit. You know? And they are. No, but
I love it when you're honest.
No, but that they are, you know. We are all people. We need to work together. That's my opinion. And if we are right or wrong, we need to go on. If we are wrong, we need to go on looking for right. And that's what it's all about. But we have people that are so monstrous, bad people that you really need to know. But this is the case. If you have a good life, you will never see it like that. No. You need to go down into the canyons and struggling up to the top again or towards the top, because if you did that, then you can see how life is, you know, and then you can see truth in a way, or things that are true. Truth I don't like, but things that are true, that is we need to go to the truth, of course, and it is ridiculous.
Well, the truth hurts, but we're not going to get out of this unless we absolutely, until we sit like adults and bloody look at it. That's what we've got to do. We have no choice. It's got to be done, whether you like it or not. It's got to be done.
Yeah, you said it already in another video. There will nothing happen as long as the people think that there will come help to help them out of it. It will not come. You are the one, and nobody will come to help you. There can be go on.
Well, that's why I'm really endeavouring hard now, and it's not that hard. I'm trying to stay. I don't want to go pointing the finger at other people now. I really don't want to. I want to concentrate on Enoch 1 and the cosmology. But one thing that has annoyed me no end is so-called truthers that come to me but will push Jesus. And I get it takes me a little while, but then I just can't have it anymore, because you're either part of the answer or you're part of the problem. There's no in the middle. You can't be a truther but push half lies. So for us to recognise that we've got to be responsible and the extension of truth that Enoch 1 shows, then we've got to also call it what it is. And we will never stand up if we've always got like a mum or a dad type figure that's going to come and clean up the mess for us.
Yeah. You need to be adult yourself, so to say.
We have to be.
Yeah,
We have to
yeah.
be.
And there are more, but it's not only Jesus, because there are more figures in the
Yes.
past that are died on the cross, 3 days dead,
Yep. Yep.
on the cross 3 days dead, and stand up again. More important people, so to call. I thought that there were three or four, or two or three something, but there are two or three or four people that have the same story as Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that.
Virgin birth,
Yeah,
blah, blah, blah.
yeah.
And this is very important as well, because as you say that, Mono, that right now they're going for the fifth age. They've got everybody doing this stupidity in photos. It makes me
Peace.
sick.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's a fifth age. So where are the other four? And when you say that, and it's always 3 days of darkness, and there'd be 4 other accounts, which worries me, because that means that the people in control of this have had 4 resets before, because they're going for number 5.
Yeah.
They've had 4 before, not just one so-called Noah's deluge. No, they've had 4, and it'll be 4. Put the brakes on, flick that wave, wipe out the population. Let's start again.
Yeah.
Start with their bullshit money system, and they just do it over and over again. But anyway, I don't want to get too involved in that. It's just that people need to realise fifth age for a reason, and if you look carefully, you'll find 4 other destructions, where the darkness is for 3 days, and it's the same story.
Yeah.
Even the Jesus story, 3 days and resurrection. It's just so much. It's just twisted all the time.
Yeah, and they do, sometimes they do it with 2 hands, and that is the fifth, and that will be the victory, the V from victory.
Yeah, that too. That too, mate.
Yeah.
That too. All right.
Okay.
Let's keep going, because this is good.
Yeah, let me see. Time enough. This a little. Okay, I will read it, or can you talk about it like this?
Well, if you want,
Okay,
enlarge it,
yes, I
and
will
I'll
read it.
read it.
But I thought, okay. In those days, Uriel answered and said to me, Behold, I have showed you all things, O Enoch, and all things have I revealed to you. You see the sun, the moon, and those which conduct the stars of heaven, which cause all their operation seasons and arrivals to return. In the days of sinners, the years shall be shortened. And let me see. The seed shall be backward in the prophylactic soil, and everything done on earth shall be subverted and disappear in the season. The rain shall be restrained, and heaven shall stand still. In those days the fruits of the earth shall be late, and not flourish in the season, and the season of the fruits of the trees shall be withholden. Uh, the moon shall change its laws, and not be seen as is at its proper period. But in those days shall heaven be seen, and barrenness shall take place in the borders of the great chariots in the west. Heaven shall shine more than when illuminated by the orders of light, while many chiefs among the stars of authority shall error, perverting their ways and works. Those shall not appear in the season who commanded them, and all the classes of the stars shall be shut up against sinners. The thoughts of those who dwell on the earth shall transgress within them, and they shall be perverted in all their ways. They shall transgress, and think themselves gods, while evil shall be multiplied among them. And then number 10, and punishment shall come come upon them, so that all of them shall be destroyed, and themselves is the chiefs among the stars.
Yeah, don't worry about that bottom bit.
Yeah.
So the most important thing is that tells you everything. I was just talking about the mulberry trees and the fruit there before. They're not fruiting. They're not fruiting in their season. The rain stopped. I can tell you now, and anyone can do it, count your cycle, count your moon cycle. And I've caught 27-day cycles. The moon's out of time now. And I don't care what anyone says. Don't go running off to YouTube or Google. Get outside. Get outside and bloody count. That's what a mature adult should do. And I've done it. And I've caught 1-day conjunctions where it should be 2. The moon's out of time. The moons are out of time. And obviously their manipulation point that they do this with is your solar and lunar eclipses. Now, that there is a very powerful page and should be really, it should be spread all over the internet. Revelations or Enoch. Let me read that. Revelations or Enoch. Enoch's pendulum moon has been proven in the physical, 6,000 years in the future. For what generation? The successful generation. Enoch 1 is a must-read for the true researcher to be aware. I do not trust anything without credibility. Now, that means, as we've heard before, told us by Yehoshua, I think, prove all things. Study to be worthy. Don't go running off to YouTube. Study means study. That is getting outside. It's understanding how everything works. See, originally I had all of this in my head and I was praying hard and asking the Great Spirit. I was asking, what do I do? How do I understand this? What have I got to do? And he says to me, because it sort of comes to me in not a voice, it's words, sentences, directions. And he said, do a painting and I will show you how it works. And at first, I thought, oh, this is a bit weird. But I did it. And voila, this is some 2.5 years later. And, we're all but there now. We've only got basically two major aspects to understand that are outside in the actual engine of how it works for the sun and the moon, single face and the iris and its timing between 4 moons of the dynamo in one face and the 2 irises of the sun, because then that's a ratio speed, just like a clock, of 1 to 2 or 1 to 5. That's a good meme to come up next, actually, Mono. So this is important. The moons are out of time now, people. And you'll find, too, that I've watched I've seen the headlines of all these different fake flat earth channels, which quite often people, I've got to say, they watch our Facebook group and they'll take our truth, use 50% of it, and then they'll spin it with 50% bullshit. But they will talk about the Mandela effect now. And I've said it before in other videos, I'm sure, that if you're going to manipulate the electromagnetic energy in here, because everything that is projected in here is light, it's energy. Really, we're just a meat suit. So you're going to get minor changes in the reality that we see. And this is what they invented Mandela effect for, because it's another evidence, if we were truly, truly aware, that they're manipulating the cosmic clock. All right. So this meme that Mino's just put up now, this is what we were talking about earlier. I'd love people, have a close look at that. The only thing missing on that, but you can guarantee it's there, is the moons. The, what did you call it, Mono? The Dynamo. It's the only thing missing there. You've got the sun, you've got the sun gears, it's all there. This is basically what we're living in, but just on a massive scale. And this is what, it's how it is.
Okay. People can see that for themselves. They can read themselves and
I'm getting
make
a
it.
little bit excited. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
it's okay. Um, let's go to the next one. That is about the
Mhm.
blocker, about the mercury blocker. Yeah.
Ah, well, it needs to be said. You know, I was I was at the doctor's today trying to get some anti-inflammatories for this muscle in my neck, and I'm looking at on the door, on the electric doors, and here's this bloody thing looking straight at me. Well, that is the symbol for Mercury, and this goes a long way, guys. They invented this heliocentric system to 2,000 years ago, 2,200 years ago. Now, but they knew Mercury previous to that, some 2,000 years ago before that. So what they did is they put Mercury as the first planet between the Sun and Earth. No, second planet, sorry. Between the Sun and Earth. Well, that's between the Sun and man. Mercury attacks directly our pineal gland and our pituitary. Mercury is the blocker to mankind's third eye, our radar, our sensory perception of the guidance from the Most High, host of all spirit, up above this realm. And so it's really important that they've got like half a dozen different symbols that they use, again, because they just want to confuse everybody stupid. But
Yeah.
that there is the sun. You can see there the sun. The wings are the sun. The wings, as we've tried to show
Yeah.
earlier.
Okay.
The wings are the symbology of the sun.
Let me give my opinion on this of my way of thinking. I think the circle is the sun source, the light. The light is
Could be.
coming down. It is taken down by the two snakes. It is ends in the
Yeah.
dark light, and the wings are the windows. That's my opinion about my way
Well,
of thinking.
I think you were right on it, but no, the wings are the two sun, the sun as it travels. But I didn't see, like you were saying, with that beam coming, the source coming down through the center. I hadn't seen that.
Yeah,
But then having the two snakes wrapped around it
yeah,
is just another symbology of this, well, satanic, Luciferian, occult, fallen angel system,
yeah,
showing you that, hang on, we've got this.
yeah,
We've got this wrapped up, you guys.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
and it's
your DNA, stopping your DNA to
yep,
get the information, so to
yep,
say, because it ends in the
yep,
dark piece, so to say. So they darken
absolutely,
the light here already in the just
yep.
theory, but that's how I see it. Yeah.
Well, it's not much theory because Adam and I sat here brainstorming together for like 3 months. And when we started getting into this Mercury deal, oh my God, our jaws were hitting the floor daily with some of the stuff that we were turning up. This whole Mercury deal is not any theory.
Yeah.
And that's why when a baby's popped out of mum, the first thing they hit them with is mercury in vaccinations. That's why they've upped the vaccinations in such huge quantity, because it's chock-a-block full of mercury.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we have Professor, the old one, and he talks about that too, about the vaccinations. And he say what they do is this: the disease is going away, then they go vaccinate, then it goes up again, and after it goes down again. So it was not because of the vaccination, but it did. Every disease is made and created for 90%, not every, but for 90% is created, and
Mm-hmm.
every disease that is coming out of itself will be gone on its own, because that's how it
Yeah.
works. That's how we say that it works.
Well, I think that's part of the reason why I see so much is because I've only in my whole life, I think I've probably only had maybe five
Yes, me too.
vaccinated,
Not yeah,
five needles,
yeah,
and probably three of them were tetanus.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Me too.
I've never, I think that's part of the reason
Yeah.
why I see.
Yeah, I have only when I was in the military and when I am born, I think in the first 3 years or after 3 years, I think.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
yeah. But we are also fluoridated, so let's go to the next one. I think that the people will understand what this means, and it is the same
Well,
also the blocker, the most
pay
high
attention.
frequency.
This just shows you, the difference. There's two different symbols, but they're both Mercury. And
Yeah,
this is what they do. They know what it all means. It's all alchemical mumbo jumbo to us, but they know what it means. They know what all of these different symbols mean.
yeah. This is blocking the female from getting children with the Mercury.
Well, basically, yeah,
It
you can
can
look at it.
be.
I see that cross as well, and I think, yeah, that's female symbol.
Yeah,
You know, it's another whole language. The symbol language is another whole language altogether, and it's in that Zionism protocol doctrine. Again, it says in there, if they ever learn to read our symbology,
yeah,
basically we're buggered,
yeah,
because if they learn that, they're going to expose us.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I know
yeah,
I can see symbology now. It just jumps at me everywhere.
yeah. Yeah, I'm with you because if I show, I see a lot on TV now, a lot things, and we have all seeing eye, just like NBC, that kind of things, or the news senders, so to say, and
Yeah.
uh, in Netherlands is we are on the first place. We are the yeah, how I say it. We are already done. Let I say it that way. Yeah, we are already ready, and we have a lot stupid people in the Netherlands, so to say. And there was also a video about the dumping down the Netherlands people, and since the 80s, around the 80s, you can clearly see that the people are dumped down, so to say.
Oh, look, it's everywhere, mate.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, they're
everywhere.
everywhere, but we are right. We are ready for to go. If the new world order wanna finish, then we are ready because it's ridiculous here. If I
Oh, it's
show
the same
some,
here, mate.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And what
It is.
you did say about everything is built on the east coast. You know, they
Hmm.
also wanna have the people out of the land, of course, because they
Of
wanna have the
course.
land for themselves, just an
Well, that's
add-on.
part of that's part of their whole plan as well. What they're doing is they're drawing all the people to the cities. Where
Yeah,
are the cities?
yeah,
They're all on the coast.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
And where are
they're
they
Yeah.
themselves? They need the land for themselves to make them the dams
Well,
deep out underground bases, so to say.
I think it's all compartmentalized stuff
Yeah,
where they've got all of these different levels of membership in all of these secret societies and masons and blah blah blah. But most of them have no idea. All they're doing is, we're getting people off the land because we're going to collect that. We're greedy little buggers. We're going to collect that. Let's help them. Let's help them. But they don't realise that the next 20 levels above them have got much more sinister plans.
yeah,
Um, you
yeah,
know,
yeah,
so it's very, very intelligent. Well, not intelligent. It's a very smart system of compartmentalization that has been set up.
yeah, yeah,
That I know with the Scientology girl that I had here. I mean, God, it used to make my jaw drop when she spoke of Scientology. It was, yes, the org, we. It was always like she was a part of something, a robot, like a computer program. And she would speak like, yes, we, the org, we are the org. And the org and the org. And I'm thinking, shit, well, if I just jumped into Star Trek, that big cube thing in Star Trek, and they called him the org. And I'm like, oh my God. So this compartmentalization is freaking huge. It's huge. In the military, in the public service, in politics, it's amazingly big.
yeah. And they will go down too.
Yes, they will.
You know, and
Yes, they will. They will.
they will not even see it. They are so in their ego mode that they
Yeah.
will not see that they are not, when they are not necessary anymore. They will go down
Yep.
too. You know, and only the really good ones will maybe stay or that are into it. But most people are trained to do what they do now, and they don't see that it is in the end they will be gone too.
Well,
It's
one of the beautiful things, as I said to you earlier, I'm reading Enoch again at the moment and trying to do this set of memes with Enoch, highlighting and trying to show people some deeper stuff. And as I read now, you know, in Enoch, and you can see where they've taken and written the Bible and other books, because in Enoch he's stating everyone's going to get a second chance. Everyone is going to get a second chance, but you know, if they don't take, in whatever form it comes, I'm not sure, but if you don't take that chance when it comes, you know, I don't know how it's going to work out. I know we live in a magic realm, and there's another realm above us, and somebody created this. Um, so when that second chance comes, they better take it. If
yeah,
not, there's plenty of organisation being put in place to take care of anybody that doesn't fit into an honest earth realm, because apparently so that this is never going to be allowed to happen again, ever. This is never, ever going to be allowed to happen again.
no. So if you have a bad mind, I would say try to work on yourself.
Bloody oath. And be determined to
Yeah,
work for the truth.
yeah.
Be righteous,
Yeah,
virtue, honest.
yeah, and don't take anything for granted. Also, this not or this video, don't take for granted, but search for yourself and
Yeah.
find it out for yourself. If you talk about the moon's jump, look at the moon. It is only 28 days, and if you have the time, look at it,
Mm.
and you know
Count it.
it. Yeah. And
Count it.
then, and when you do that, that is the first thing to do. Look at the sun and the moon, and if you do that, you will go on because it is like it is, and then if it is like it is, then it is the truth, you know.
And I tell people, right, as you say that, I'd say to people also, look for every 7 days from the new moon, count 7 days, then on the eighth day, look for a jump. The moon will comes up in one place, it'll come up in a completely different place.
Yeah,
The only place you can ever find that is in Enoch chapter 73. I'd encourage free energy to do that. I'd encourage any flat earth channel. I actually challenge them to do it,
yeah.
to get a compass.
Not only the channels, but the people that watch to the flat earth,
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
the channels are we are not important. The people themselves are
Yes,
important,
I
and
agree.
that's what it's all about.
I
And
agree.
I did see it before, but I didn't know what I did see with the jump until I did see what you say, and I thought it's logic. Let I say, if it is logic, it can be it's close to the truth. Then I think that you need to go with it. And maybe you see something that is more logic after. It can be. You never know, you know. And that it was, of course, for me with from the EA map to this map to the square Earth. It was for me more logic in a way. And yeah,
Hmm.
you cannot have all things that true because you cannot look outside. So it's also a little taken from yourself with all knowledge you have. You know that is where so you are listen to other people. So you need to very research all yourself, Book of Enoch and that kind of things, and look at
Mm,
all videos because we have also talks outside of the model, but
mm,
if you watch our videos, you really can come to the knowledge that you have, let I say it so,
mm.
because it is simply explained all, so to say.
Well, so you can show your children. You can show, 10-year-old children. You can show them. You can
Yeah,
show them.
yeah,
And once you start understanding that a little bit, you can show them how the stars really work, because there's no ecliptic. The ecliptic doesn't exist. And you can, it's a beautiful thing. And it's really learning. It's really expanding the mind and your awareness of where you live. And it's an amazing thing that we, through Enoch 1 and just get outside, you can actually do some amazing, give children an amazing gift
Yeah.
that hasn't been shown for a bloody long time.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah. Yeah.
when you say about research, these couple of memes now, because we should probably try and wind it up because we've been going a
133.
long time.
133.
So this one here is a distillery for alcohol. I myself am 100% believer that alcohol is alchemy, and it is, and it's proven by the fact that it is distilled. It's an alchemical weapon against mankind's spirit, and I think some more than others. I think that I absolutely think that the elect or the people that are called to be closer to the Most High, and I get this information from a very wise American Indian woman that has educated me on a lot of Native American traditional spirituality. And you've only got to look at indigenous races, cultures, and how they are affected by alcohol. It destroys them. It absolutely obliterates their culture because they are more spiritual. They feel like there's something missing. And what happens is alcohol replaces that. And you get a little bit, you want more. Get a little bit more, you want more. You want more, and it destroys the spirit. That's why Yahushua was said, in them days, make sure that you're of sober mind. And I can relate to that. I don't drink alcohol because of that reason. I look at that. It's a distillery. It's magic. It's alchemy. Alcohol is a weapon against mankind. So, but we can turn that around with good research. You will then understand. Can we go to that next meme, please, Mono? Rolling a smoke. That there is the Creator's distillery. It is our kidneys do not dispense rubbish. It is not rubbish. It is the medicine of mankind. You can, a child gets a nut allergy, or you get jellyfish stings, anything, and you've got two glands underneath your tongue. I've heard of people actually too, where a child's having an allergic reaction to nuts, and if you're standing and it's like one of your things that you like, Mono, with water and how water reacts to the emotions of people. And if you're standing very close to that child when he has an allergic reaction, then you can use your pee to put under the child's tongue to resolve that allergic reaction, because the energy from that child transfers through to you if you're close enough. Now, I'm saying all this because I've researched it. I have researched it, and it goes deeper, as I've said before in a previous video, but I wanted to show these two memes. So I'm not advocating to anyone, look, you go and do it as if I'm some sort of doctor. I'm not. But for me, I'm absolutely 100% sure of my research, and I do this, and I believe it with all my heart. But I'm not telling anyone, go and do this. I would say to you, research it, because the common sense is there. It's very common sense.
I did a little, and I was busy with it before you did call me, so to say. And I did search for it, and I did see now that the channels that are where I know of that they are controlled, they all push it away.
Yes.
So that says a lot of for me. I didn't study it for now, but I did see some things how it works, and
Yep.
but exactly that channels, and I mean just TV channels for real. Also, that I
Mm.
know of that are controlled opposition, because all TV channels are controlled opposition for me,
Mm-hmm.
and.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly them did say it is quackery, so to say. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Of
yeah,
course they did.
yeah.
But as I've said to you, it's full of stem cells. That first P in the morning is full of stem cells. And when they talk about nanobots, your pee has nanobots in it because your body has programmed it for whatever's wrong in your body. That especially that first urine in the morning, that it's programmed to fix you. With the stem cells as well. I mean, my God. But as I've said to you off recording, that you can get a nice glass jar and what they call age your pee, put it in a dark wardrobe, nice and cool, just at a nice ambient temperature. And if you can do it and do it properly and leave it sit for a month, 2 months, you'll watch that white stalactites or stalagmites, whatever, they grow from the bottom. That is pure stem cells growing in the pea. Now, this is all stuff that is, it's valuable and it's right there in front of us. Yeah.
Yeah, I am busy with study it, and the people will hear it if I'm done.
So, Mono, do you mind? I think that's our last meme, isn't it, for tonight?
Yeah, almost. We have one less from the cave of Plato, so to say.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then one from the channel of Russia and White House and the dance, this one.
Oh, yeah.
So we can keep it with this one for the last one. We are at 1:39 now. 1 hour
Well,
39.
I think that's just an amazing thing. I mean, that's what we live in. That's everything. I'd like to think I'm standing up on the top of that grass now. I'm standing up on the earth. But it's no mean feat to get from looking at shadows, NASA, to get past the guards, to get past the fire, and then find your way up out of that hole. It's no mean feat, I can tell you. It's bloody hard. And I'd love to reach down there and grab every one of them people, but the cognitive dissonance is strong.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's really strong, and I can see it in my family because you say you lost a lot, but my family is against me if I start to speak, and my friends also, if I start to speak, they are not into it, so to say.
Yep,
They are
yep.
just busy with making them life comfortable,
Hmm.
so to say. And
Yep.
I have no real fights with them, but
Hmm.
sometimes they become a little angry.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
if you see things, you want to talk about it. Because I want that's where we talked the last time about. I want to tell people what's going on. And
Yep.
yeah, and not about Earth, for example, especially, but also about other things
Everything.
and science and fluoride and aspartame. I did
Mm.
give my sister for the ones toothpaste without fluoride, and so to try to let her use that, but. She did use it. She liked it, so I hope she stay with it because she is a very high sensitive person, higher than me, and she
Hmm.
have only an other way to tell things. So she tell things, and I can understand what she tells, but another will say you are an idiot, you know, and
Mm.
that's a problem. You need also have the good words to tell to somebody.
Hmm. Hmm.
Otherwise, they will they will lock you away behind the bars, so to say. Yeah,
Well, yeah. I
I
think
know.
that's,
Yeah, I
it's
know
part of their
parents.
ploy.
Yeah, I know parents. They're from. I know a girl, and her mom will put her away in a psychiatric institute because she
Hmm.
did talk about things that are happening now. So that's
Hmm.
how it works. Your parents, you
Hmm.
can, and that is not you. You need always care for your parents because they did
Hmm.
try what they could, but they are of course also indoctrinated. So you cannot trust
Hmm.
your parents in a way. Mostly, some are, some not. In a way
Hmm.
that you think because they did always hold me back Yeah, because I always thought already all is fucked up in this world, and they hold me back. It is like it is, and it is always so, and I could not grasp it. And if you can grasp it, yeah, then you think, wow, you are lying to me since I am born too.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it's how it is, my man. It's how
yeah,
it is,
yeah.
you know.
Okay, dit was the last meme then for now.
hmm hmm
I think we can.
Well, can let me say something. I just want to, and you can edit this out if you don't like it, but I want to say to people that what I want to do is I dearly, dearly, dearly would love to get a camper van. And through all of the years of doing my research and studying the realm and all information, being able to bring all of this to people, because you can verify all of this yourself, people, um, that I am I am in need of funds, and I don't want just money given to me for no reason. Um, and I would ask and say to people, I'll move back. I didn't have this planned, but I will. Um, these paintings, if somebody wants, because I truly believe that these paintings weren't me. I've never done art before in my life. I never have. These paintings are from the Most High. They are, because they showed, and I'll put those other suns in the way it should be. I just want to change one of the moons on this bottom one. But these, I believe, are inspired paintings. They're not from me. And I would ask if anybody out there is willing to offer me a substantial, not huge, just a substantial amount of money that I could maybe put towards buying a camper van. Because what I want to do is I want to take my P900, I get a nice laptop, I'll get rid of my desktop and I'll get a laptop, and I want to be able to move and keep researching. I want to be able to keep the group going strong and start researching the Wanderers. And I would like to get up north to the Aboriginal settlements. I want to ask them about the rainbow serpent and a lot of their culture, because I think they've got a lot hidden. Because, I mean, look, rainbow serpent. There, look, rainbow serpent. They know some stuff, and I'd like to get into some of their clean communities up in the north of Australia, no alcohol, no drugs, and get to sit down with the elders for a couple of months, and learn and swap stories with them, but still keep up my research, and keep moving forward with the Wanderers. We've got to understand these Wanderers. For the Cosmic Engine, the animation that Matt he's working on, the animation won't be that far away. We've put a lot of work in. And I would ask that if anyone can help me financially towards a camper van, hallelujah. Because, I honestly just haven't had time to work. I've raised my two children, got them through high school. My daughter finished last year. They're good. They're off and they're doing their thing now. And if anybody wants these paintings for a substantial price, now these are pretty damn good. This one here's got everything hidden in it. I mean, everything hidden in it. Four corners, you've got everything hidden in here. Oh, going backwards here. Keep still, Sam. Everything's hidden in here. Building 7, Fifth Age, 9/11. Everything's here. Dates up in this corner. It's all here. So if anyone is that way inclined to have, and I've signed them all, and if they're that way inclined that they would like these for a substantial price, please help me. Help me. Because I don't need them for the future. My future, I believe, is never going to stop just researching. Because the Enoch One truth is much deeper than the paintings. but I truly believe somebody else could have these paintings in a much better environment and much more revered and looked after and respected than what I have here. And I think it's almost something I hope that is time. So if somebody can help me with a substantial amount, please, I would ask that contact me and let's talk. And you can, for a substantial fund, have Enoch 1, Flat Earth, because this one goes inside this one, like that.
Yeah.
And that's how it goes, like that. And, you know, I think they're unique. Well, I'm sure they're bloody unique because no one's seen this for a long time. You know, to the free public, no one's seen this. So please, anybody that can help, please. That's it, Mano. I
Okay.
just wanted to put that out there for people.
Yeah, that's good. I want to leave it at that. So if you can help, then you know the links are in the description from Facebook and
Yep.
from the channel of YouTube. And I want to say thank you again, Sam. We will do the next part in a couple of days again. And I want to thank everybody for watching again. And this was a little from
One
all
thing,
kind of
one thing,
subjects. Okay.
one thing.
Yeah.
That sun, the suns are formed every east, every pass, and are put out west every pass. They do not go around the realm. They are new. You never see the same sun twice.
It's
The moons and the wanderers go all around the realm, but the sun does not.
no, it's like a torch. You put it on, you move it
Yep,
over the earth, and you put the torch out.
yep,
Yeah. Okay.
that's how it
Okay,
is.
people. I want to say again, peace in the world.
Peace, and
Bye
that's what we're
bye.
all about. Peace.
Yeah. Thank you all. Bye bye.